Welcome to the truth inside. This video is to talk about what it's like to be a delivery driver from the driver's perspective. Now, you as a consumer, we all shop online. We all try and get the cheapest deal we can, and we try and get free delivery if we can. What people don't understand is that impacts on the delivery of your products. In particular, how the delivery driver is treated, how poorly he is paid. And I feel if we all paid a decent amount of money for delivery, the delivery driver would have a nice job and he'd enjoy it. But I just want to do this video to try and help anyone out there understand what it's like to be a delivery driver. So let's talk about being a driver. What are the situations regarding being employed? So you can be employed directly by the firm itself, such as one of the big courier firms. You can be a franchisee where you decide to have your little own business, representing one of the big courier firms. Or you can work for an agency, but you don't tend to get paid any holiday pay or sick pay if you're unable to work. If you can't work, you don't get paid, but you may be still expected to pay your insurance and van rental. Now let's talk about how the agencies get the staff in when they advertise jobs. They'll claim you can earn £400 plus. Reality is you won't earn that, because if you can't deliver all your parcels on time or you're slow, you're probably going to get £100 knocked off. And when you work out your wage at the end of the week, you're getting paid probably £5 an hour. I spoke to a Polish driver who told me that. Once I found out, I was pretty shocked. Now, I have worked for most of the big delivery companies. I also have worked for the biggest online retailer out there. You probably know who they're called. I can't say the name for non-disclosure reasons, because we signed something to say we won't tell anyone what happens there. Or safe to say, they've got things to hide. Anyway, what I will say is they're the biggest online retailer. They don't pay all the taxes that they should do, and they treat their warehouse staff pretty poorly, as well as their drivers. So they'll pay you the equivalent of 10 hours work, but quite often you'll be driving for 14 to 16 hours quite often. You're not paid for loading your van, and you're not paid for bringing the parcels back, and then you have to explain why you didn't deliver them. So it's very stressful. You get between 150 and 250 parcels. Christmas time you can have a huge number of parcels to deliver. It's very stressful. They give you a sat-nav system to follow, and in the sat-nav system it's very complex in terms of how you deliver your parcels, because the head offices in other countries like America, they don't understand the UK road networks, don't understand rush hour traffic, traffic lights, don't understand roadworks that quite often pop up. So they're not very understanding with times. Now, there is a law out there, I don't know if anyone's aware of it, that we're not really supposed to be working longer than 11 hours or 10 hours driving time as commercial drivers. So anyone out there who is a courier, just keep in mind that if you're watching this video, you may find that if you're working over 11 hours, you're breaking the law. And just think, is it worth losing your license just to work for a company? It's not. You know, I've been sacked once, and I've resigned 3 or 4 times working for various courier firms. The reason for that is the rewards are not there, because you're expected to pay for your van rental, your insurance, your fuel, and possibly any accidents that occur. You'll be expected to pay the excess. Now, I do remember someone telling me they had an excess of £5,000 that they had to pay out. So they had to continue working for the company to pay for the excess, that the damage that they caused. But you pay insurance for that, don't you? So I think when I heard that, I got a bit scared, really. Got a bit worried. I thought, what if I have an accident? Am I going to be, lumbered with a massive bill and be forced to work for this horrible company? So I had a long think, and I thought, no, I'm going to resign and get out of there. Believe it or not, I was phoned up by the agency that I was working for and asked to come back. They offered me a job as a manager in a depot that fell through. Then they offered me another job working in the depot I was working at. That was a terrible run place. The manager was useless. And he said, we've got a new manager, new team, we sorted out. And I asked him one question. Will I ever be expected to work over 10 hours? And the phone went silent. And I realised that the answer was yes, you'd be expected to work more than 10 hours to do these deliveries. Because even if you manage to get all your deliveries done in 10 hours, you're expected to help out all the other drivers who can't do it in 10 hours. So no matter what, you will end up working 14 hours plus, virtually 6 days a week. And it's unbelievable that I would come home, I would put my laptop on, I would start watching a video on YouTube, and within 10 minutes I would have fallen to sleep. And then you got to do this all over again the next day. And you realise to yourself, I've got no life. I've got no social life. Do I want to do this job anymore? So I came in one day and I thought, well, I've had a long, hard think. I parked my van there, I'm resigning, bye-bye. And I left. And I got phone call after phone call, even now, some years after, I get a phone call every year asking me, will you come back and deliver for us? So I think it's a job I won't be doing again. I went on to other things, driving big vehicles, and I get paid more, and it's regular work. But the point I'm trying to say in this video is it's a very stressful job. Unless you can get with one of the main courier firms as a permanent employee, and they don't give you a ton of parcels to deliver in a short space of time, it's a job I would recommend you avoid at all costs. It's a very difficult job to do. I think if you know the roads like the back of your hand and you've got a really good memory, it might be the job for you. There are some firms out there that allow you to specialise in a local area, and all you do is that area. And I'm not going to mention the company name, but all I will say is it's quite a decent company if you can do that, because what it is they'll just give you 60-70 parcels a day to do, and because you know the area really well, you can probably get all the deliveries done in 4 hours, because you know the area like the back of your hand. However, when I worked for that online retailer, I did the entire West Yorkshire area. You never got used to any area because you were all over the place. So that's the reason why I left. Now, there is something I want to say to you, and I want you to listen very carefully. I was on a forum once, and I said, this is the scenario I had, and this is why I left, because I just couldn't cope with the sheer amount of hours I expected to do, and the sheer volume of parcels I had to do. And I said I quit, and there was someone in the forum who sent me a really nice, honest reply. Now, it isn't the same industry. He was working for a care home, going to different people's, elderly people, and looking after them, and then would go on to the next one. The point I'm trying to make is he was expected to do a huge amount of people in a short space of time, and one day he was so fixated with rushing from A to B, he knocked a child down. He went to prison. His wife divorced him. He lost his home. He hardly ever sees his children, and now he's got a criminal record. And he said to me, "Well done for quitting. I wish I had had the foresight to do that myself, and I wouldn't have ruined my life." It's very heartening listening to that and realising you made the right decision. So, one thing I want to leave you with, ladies and gentlemen, is if you have a job that is pressurising you to do something which you feel is dangerous, stop, think. There are other jobs out there. It's not the end of the world. Do yourself a favour. Go home. Talk to your relatives. Talk to your friends. Have a good night's sleep. Turn your phone off. And in the morning, if you think, "I don't want to go to work," ring them up and say, "I resign. I quit." And find yourself another job. Because there are hundreds of other careers out there for you. And I hope this video gave you the courage and conviction to decide what's right for you. Have a nice day.